Print Hustlers, Bruce from Printavo here, simple shop management software. Today I want to talk to you guys about a topic around building versus buying a shop management solution for your shop. Now, we get this question a lot as we work with thousands of shops all around the world. So, the question comes down to a couple different factors that I want to get into. Of course, many of you guys will say, well, he's biased, you started Printavo, and that's not necessarily true in this aspect because I'm going to focus on both Printavo and our solution and building your own solution and which one is better for you. So let's talk about buying a solution. Now, there's a whole host of different solutions out there. At Printavo, we really focus on creating the simplest, easiest way to help manage your business. Now, with that said, we're going to be able to hit about 80 to 90% of your needs as a business. Now, that last 10 to 20% is still going to be there. Now, as we continue to focus on building a better solution for you guys, that 80 to 90% is going to continue to hike up, and we're going to slowly get closer and closer to the 100. But what's going to happen is actually we're not going to hit the 100, it's going to continue to get closer and closer. And the reason is because everyone's needs always change, especially as their businesses are ran differently and technology around us changes. As we, though, focus and continue to iterate and work on creating a really good solution for you guys, that is there for you guys to be able to use. Now, you can always build your own solution. That could be 100% of your needs, but there's a few caveats. Now, those are, number one, what is your focus as a business? Building software takes a lot of time. We have a team here in Chicago that is solely focused on building the best shop management solution out there. If your focus is building a really great screen printing and embroidery shop, that is awesome and you're going to kill it. But you have to focus on that. It's very similar to saying, why does Walmart or Amazon buy Salesforce, for example, at a large scale for a CRM tool versus building one? And they have so much capital available, why not build something? Well, because that's not their focus. And there's so much inside software that isn't seen from the start point of the project. Building software is like an iceberg. You see the very top kind of 10-20% layer, but the rest of it is hidden deep underneath the water that you don't get to until you start chiseling down into it. When you start building it, there's project, scope, and setting that scope. Now that scope is going to creep naturally because if you initially say, hey, we want to be able to do scheduling, create invoices, and be able to collect payment, well, that's nice, but I'm sure you'll get into, well, we'd like to have these additional fields for invoices and keep these additional pieces of information for customers. We want to collect ACH, we want to collect credit card, we want to collect from this processor, now this processor, and PayPal. Well, all of this stuff extends the scope. It then, again, eventually makes the project take longer and cost a lot more. So if you're hiring someone to do this for you, then that is going to rack up your expenses. Now, software developers are expensive. Freelance developers can be earning up to $200 an hour, I've seen, for some of the really, really good ones. And that's not even to say that you actually get a really good one. We at Printavo have spent a lot of time with not the best quality of developers, and we are software developers, so we should know things, the quality of those. So it's tough to find groups that are really good at it. Now, that of course then means that if something is built incorrectly, you do have to go back and make it built correctly so it will scale correctly. And what scaling means is that if you have a system that has 100 orders, well, that may work great, but in a year, if you have 1,000 orders, it's not going to function the same. You need a system that's scalable, that works with the amounts of data that you're going to be putting into it over time. That's why some software solutions you'll see become slower over time if they're not maintained correctly. Once you have something that may be built, there's other factors to think about that are longer term. Hosting is one aspect if you're going to be putting this piece of software in the cloud. Maintenance is a really big another one. With software, it's never perfect. There are always different little bugs and tweaks and things that are happening. So just because it's said it's done, you're going to encounter different bugs and edge cases where that needs to be maintained and fixed and patched. With that said, you also want to be able to be on top of technology. Technology changes. Texting wasn't that big 10, 15 years ago. APIs weren't that big 10 years ago. Well, they're huge now. So will your solution be able to adapt to all of these new technologies? The texting, like I said, can you integrate with email marketing, something like MailChimp.com? Can you email with a marketing solution like Facebook ads to know where people are coming from? How are you be able to pull out the data and do deep analytics? These kinds of questions as technology changes are things that we focus on Printavo to make better for you guys. But if you build your solution, we'll have to spend a lot of time around that too. So these are the different trade-offs in between buying and building. Hopefully that brings a little bit of clarity. If you do have questions, leave a comment below. I'd love to be able to help.